Good evening, everyone. This is Dari on WorldStreams Radio. Thank you to our listeners from all over the world for joining us tonight. And hello and welcome to everyone here with us on paltalk.com. If you'd like to learn more about WorldStreams Radio, visit our website at worldstreams.org. Our guest tonight is a very special person, historian, playwright, and social activist Howard Zinn. Howard Zinn was a shipyard worker and an Air Force bombardier before he went to college under the GI Bill and received his Ph.D. from Columbia University. He's taught at Spelman College and Boston University and has been a visiting professor at the University of Paris and the University of Bologna. He's received the Thomas Merton Award, the Eugene V. Debs Award, the Upton Sinclair Award, and the Lenon Literary Award. Howard Zinn is perhaps best known for A People's History of the United States, which presents American history through the eyes of those he feels are outside of the political and economic establishment. Howard Zinn's life has been so full that it's really very difficult to describe all of its accomplishments in a short time. Good evening, Saeed. Hello and welcome, Howard. It's an honor and pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be talking with you.
Well, hello, Dari, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us, and good evening to you, Howard Zinn. It's certainly a pleasure to have you here with us tonight. Tonight is the celebration of 100 days in office for Barack Obama. And Howard, what is your assessment of this milestone?
Well, as you say, it's 100 days, which is just about 3 months in his term. But we already have a clue to Obama's approach, and it's mixed. By that I mean he has refreshingly moved away in a number of ways from the policies of the Bush administration, most notably in domestic policy, most notably in the fact that he wants to spend more money for education, more money to create jobs, wants to revamp the health care system, and he is opposed to the kind of brutal methods that were used by the Bush administration. He has declared himself against torture. He has said he would close the camp, the very notorious torture camp in Guantanamo. Mm-hmm. So he's made some good moves. And on the other hand, in foreign policy and in military policy, I think he has been too close to the Bush policies. By that I mean he is still maintaining a huge military budget, still approving a military budget of over $600 billion. The military budget increased drastically during the Bush administration, mm-hmm. and Obama is maintaining that large military budget. He may change the kinds of weapons that are in the military budget, but it is still a budget that calls for maintaining a huge military establishment, and that doesn't bode well. I mean, what are you going to do with this huge military establishment? The United States now has a military budget that is equal to or greater than the total combined budgets of all possible enemies in the world. So it doesn't make any sense. And furthermore, sending troops to Afghanistan is a terrible, terrible policy. We have had troops in Afghanistan now for how long? Certainly, since the beginning of 2007, over 7 years, those troops have not changed anything for the good in Afghanistan. All that has happened is that more people have been killed in Afghanistan, and we're continuing to kill innocent people in Afghanistan as we drop bombs there. The Obama administration, almost as soon as it came into office, sent these missiles, these Predator missiles over Pakistan, presumably to kill terrorists, but you can't distinguish between terrorists and civilians, and quite a few civilians have been killed, ordinary innocent people killed in Pakistan. So, as I say, it's a mixed record. You know, Obama is articulate and intelligent and has shown signs of having good values in his rhetoric and in his background, but on the other hand, he is very traditional conservative. Well, let's put it this way. He's a traditional Democrat in many ways. And if you look at the traditions of the Democratic Party, what they show is, well, more reformist and more liberal and more humane in domestic policy than the Republican Party, although not making fundamental changes in the economic system. And in foreign policy, the Democratic Party has generally gone along with expansion, imperialism, war, military interventions, covert action. So now there's hope for the Obama. Despite this criticism, I think there's certainly more hope for the Obama administration than there was in the Bush administration, because I think Obama is more open, more flexible,
right,
and maybe subject to persuasion, and to, if he sees that the American people, if he sees that large numbers of the American people are not satisfied with what he's done so far, maybe he will move. Bush didn't seem to care what the American people thought. That's an important difference.
Right. Well, Howard, once you wrote that, in terms of change, of course, now we're talking about 100 days and what is the potential, what do we see are some of the seeds of change in there, but you've argued also that Obama will not fulfill the potential to change America unless he is definitely enveloped in a social movement which is, in your words, angry and powerful enough to bring about that change. Is there really something in here right now, considering the crisis, the economic crisis, considering the two wars, that really could give him that platform?
So far, no. As you pointed out, that and as I have written before in a number of places, the Obama administration will not make bold moves in a good direction unless there is a grassroots movement in the country which pushes him that way. I mean, we have historical precedent for this. The Roosevelt administration was not inherently vigorous and bold, but it became bold because there were strikes all over the country. There was agitation. There were tenants movements and unemployed councils and civil disobedience. There was a tumult in the country, and in the face of that, Roosevelt moved to do some very good things which, in fact, had not been equaled in their boldness by any subsequent administration. Now, the same thing was true in the 60s. Kennedy and Johnson were not going to act to end racial segregation, not at all, until there was a black movement that aroused the South, aroused the country, and embarrassed the nation before the world, and that turmoil and those all those things that happened in the 60s finally led to the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act, and resulted in important changes in the South. So it will take that kind of atmosphere in the country, take grassroots movements. It will take a combination of the energy of the civil rights movement and the women's movement and the anti-war movement, and we would need a revived labor movement. We would need something national in scope and persistent and strong in order to move Obama from his present very cautious and conservative